Right then, let's dive into the heart of Ibrox, where something massive is stirring beneath the surface. Something that could completely reshape the future of Rangers Football Club. For the fans who've stood by through thick and thin, this might just be the glimmer of hope they've been desperate for. Let's not sugarcoat it. This season's been one of the most frustrating in recent memory. The expectations were sky high, as they always are at a club of this stature. But once again, the campaign's been riddled with inconsistency, disappointment, and more questions than answers. The gap to Celtic hasn't just remained, it's grown, and with each drop point and underwhelming performance, the calls for change have become deafening. Now, those calls might finally be answered. There's serious talk, credible talk, of a major takeover coming to Ibrox. Not just a shuffle in the boardroom, not just another faceless consortium throwing cash around. We're talking about something potentially transformative with the kind of financial muscle and sporting ambition to match the history, the demand, and the burning desire of this fan base to see Rangers back at the very top. Not just in Scotland, but on the European stage too. The speculation's been bubbling for months, but now things are heating up fast. The key figures behind this possible revolution, none other than the people pulling the strings of 49ers Enterprises, the business arm of the NFL's San Francisco 49ers. Parag Marathe and Andrew Kavanagh, names already familiar in the English game thanks to their involvement with Leeds United, are now being strongly linked with Rangers. And here's where it gets seriously interesting. Maratha was spotted at Elland Road, watching Leeds as they dismantled Bristol City with ease in their final home game of the season. Why does that matter? Because if Leeds secure promotion to the Premier League, the American consortium could soon turn their full attention to Ibrox. It's no longer whispers behind closed doors. It's happening in public now. The timing couldn't be more dramatic. Leeds are locked in a final day scrap with Burnley for the championship title, both on 97 points, and if Leeds finish top, their immediate plans might shift quickly. With Plymouth Argyle all but relegated and Burnley facing Millwall, who are still pushing for a playoff spot, the odds slightly favor Leeds. And if Leeds go up, don't be surprised if the 49ers Enterprises push forward aggressively with their Rangers ambitions. A 51% majority shareholding is the number being thrown around, and if that comes to pass, the landscape at Ibrox could change overnight. But let's park the off-field drama for a moment and talk about one of the few bright spots in an otherwise dreary season. Nicolas Raskin. What a campaign he's had. The Belgian midfield dynamo has been a rare constant. A player whose work ethic and bite in the middle of the park have earned the respect of the fans, his teammates, and even his doubters. And when James Tavernier has been unavailable, it's been Raskin wearing the armband. That's no small thing. In a squad that's lacked leadership and direction at times, he stood up and now he's reaped the reward. At the club's end of season awards, Raskin didn't just win one prize, he took home two of the most prestigious. Rangers Player of the Year and Players Player of the Year. That tells you everything. Not only do the fans see what he brings every week, but the dressing room itself recognizes him as a leader and a standout performer. That's massive, especially considering the context. Let's not forget, Rangers drew 2-2 away at St. Mirren just before the awards night, twice giving up a lead in a match that summed up the team's lack of killer instinct. Many supporters were furious that the ceremony even went ahead, especially after Celtic had lifted the Premiership trophy just 24 hours earlier. But Raskin didn't let the mood dampen his gratitude. He posted a heartfelt message on Instagram, thanking his teammates, the coaching staff, the medical team, and of course the fans. He spoke about how much it meant to him to feel appreciated in both the dressing room and the stands, and you could tell it was genuine. He's not just saying the right things, he means them. That kind of mentality is rare, and it's exactly the sort of foundation you need if you're planning to rebuild. Because let's be honest, this squad needs rebuilding. Not just a few tweaks, not just one or two signings, a full-on overhaul. And that brings us back to the potential new ownership. If the 49ers Enterprises Group does take control, the resources could be there to finally do that properly. No more bargain bin panic buys. No more short-term fixes. A proper long-term vision. A clear plan, modern infrastructure, recruitment that makes sense, and aligns with the way the manager wants to play. That's the hope anyway. Speaking of which, there's been plenty of chatter about who deserves to stay and who needs to go. Alan Hutton, former Rangers right back and current pundit, didn't pull any punches when asked about the current crop of players. He singled out a few who he believes have the quality to be part of the rebuild. Czech winger Václav Černý, currently on loan from Wolfsburg, came up first. He's been one of the very few attacking players who's consistently looked dangerous this season. Hutton was so emphatic in his praise that one of his fellow pundits joked his mic had cut out because he paused so long after naming it. Alongside Černý, Hutton mentioned Raskin again, as you'd expect, and Mohamed Diomande, a player who started to come into his own. John Sauter also got a mention, although Hutton admitted the defense as a whole needs serious work. As for Jack Butland, there's hope he can rediscover the form he showed earlier in the campaign. But beyond that, Hutton was brutally honest. He's struggling to name others who should be kept around. Even Cyril Desires, the striker who scored 24 goals across all competitions, didn't escape criticism. Yes, the numbers are solid, but according to Hutton, it's about more than just stats. It's about impact. It's about the ability to lead the line, to link play, to press defenders, and in his view, Desires just hasn't offered enough of that. If Rangers are going to compete at the highest level again, they need a front line that terrifies defenses, not one that flatters to deceive. Hutton also predicted a wave of exits this summer. Names like Ned Barami, Oscar Cortez, Tom Lawrence, all of them he believes could be on their way out. And frankly, that wouldn't be a surprise to most fans. The forward areas especially need more dynamism, more flair, and more consistency. You can't compete with Celtic or in Europe if you're carrying passengers. Another player whose future is up in the air is Hamza Igamani. The young Moroccan striker has shown glimpses of real promise this season, including a hat trick against Hibs that had fans buzzing. In total, he's delivered 15 goals and 3 assists. Not bad for a debut campaign in Scottish football. He even picked up the club's Young Player of the Year and Goal of the Season awards. But now the big question looms. Should Rangers cash in? Hutton thinks it's a conversation worth having. He reckons that in the past, Rangers have waited too long to sell players, missing the moment to get maximum value. With Igor Maina, if a big offer, say $10 million comes in, Hutton believes the club should take it. After all, they brought him in for around $2.5 million. That kind of profit just a year later is hard to ignore. He's young, yes, he's improving, but the reality is Rangers need funds to rebuild. And if selling a promising player helps unlock the resources to do that, it might be the right move. Of course, it's not just about money. It's about where and how you play him. Hutton doesn't see Igamani as an out-and-out number 9. He's more of a free spirit, someone who likes to drift, link up play, and find space. Barry Ferguson preferred Dessers because he wanted a proper focal point, a striker who runs in behind and occupies defenders. Igamani is more of a hybrid. Yes, he can score goals, but his best work often comes when he's not pinned to the center circle. So here we are, a club on the edge of massive change, a takeover on the horizon, a squad crying out for fresh blood. And a new identity, and a fan base desperate, absolutely desperate for a return to the glory days. The next few weeks could define the next few years at Rangers. If the 49ers group gets their hands on the club, don't be surprised if the whole operation is torn down and rebuilt from the ground up. And honestly, maybe that's exactly what's needed, because Rangers aren't a club that should be settling for second best. They're not a club that should be satisfied with close but not quite. This is a club built on tradition, on dominance, on European nights and unforgettable triumphs. And while the journey back to the top might still be long, it finally feels like the wheels are starting to turn in the right direction. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Rabbi Matondo has admitted he regrets leaving Rangers in a heartfelt confession that is sure to stir emotions among the Ibrox faithful. The winger, who departed the Glasgow Giants hoping to find greater opportunities elsewhere, has now opened up about the difficulties he has faced since making that decision. Speaking candidly, Matondo reflected on the bond he shared with the club and the fans, admitting that walking away was one of the toughest choices of his career and one he now wishes he could take back. Since leaving Rangers, Matondo's career has been a mixed bag marked by inconsistency and a struggle to replicate the form he occasionally flashed at Ibrox. Opportunities have been limited, and the sense of belonging he once felt in Glasgow has proven difficult to replace. In his own words, the player described the move as a learning experience, but one that came at a great personal cost. He spoke warmly of the dressing room environment at Rangers, of the unwavering support from the stands, and the unique atmosphere that only Scottish football, and Rangers in particular, can offer. It is not often that players come out and admit such raw regret, and Matondo's honesty has been met with a wave of sympathy from many supporters. While some may point to his inconsistent performances during his time in blue, others remember the flashes of brilliance he provided and believe he could have developed into a much more complete player had he remained under the lights at Ibrox. His admission has sparked debate among pundits and fans alike, with some wondering if there might one day be a route back for the Welsh international to return to Govan. For now, though, Matondo remains a cautionary tale about how the grass is not always greener away from Glasgow. His words serve as a reminder of the special bond that exists between Rangers and its players. A bond that once formed can leave a lasting mark long after the boots have been packed up and the contracts signed elsewhere. Whether a second chapter at Rangers could ever be on the cards remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, Rabbi Matondo's heart never truly left Ibrox. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.